This is Roxanne Cranstover, who was married for 13 years, but who suspected for quite a while before that her husband was gay. His denial only made the marriage and subsequent divorce more frustrating and painful. Roxanne is here in our studios after traveling here from Wisconsin because she feels it's so important to highlight the subject, and we're very appreciative of you making the effort to be here. Why did you feel it was so important to talk about this openly?
Because after my divorce, and through the end of my marriage and after my divorce, I found that if I brought the subject up that my ex-husband was gay, there were so many biases. And I have 4 children with him. And people would say things like, love the sinner, hate the sin. And this was very hurtful to my children. And
were they biased toward you or your ex-husband or your family in general?
Well, they were biased toward homosexuality. Mm-hmm. And these, my husband was gay, and I just couldn't let my children be subjected to that. So I was silent. I was silent for many, many years. And when I read the book, Left in His Closet, it gave me a voice.
And it also gave you strength to talk about it.
It gave me strength.
To realize that there were other people like yourself out there.
Yes.
Now, you suspected, whereas Mary said that she did not have any idea until perhaps at the end she thought there was an affair with a woman. You had some inklings that something wasn't quite right. Again, a delicate subject, but did those inklings start in the bedroom?
Absolutely, they did. I was rejected physically all the time. In fact, our honeymoon, he supposedly made reservations at this nice hotel with a honeymoon suite. We get there and the reservations were never made. And so that started my whole marriage of being lonely and neglected.
Lonely is the word that so many women use to identify the feelings that they have when they realize they've been married to a gay man. Rejection is another one. Your marriage for you brought you very little comfort except that it provided children, right? Right.
I had my 4 children, and my husband was so neglectful, and I was so lonely that I put everything into my children. And I think that you just get into survival mode and just make it go day by day.
Now, you said that you had some idea that he may be gay and actually confronted him with that question, a question to which he denied it.
Yes, he always denied it.
Always denied it, even after you were separated and divorced?
Even after we were separated and divorced, he denied it. He told his family that I was running around on him, and that's why we needed to get divorced.
In hindsight, would it have been easier had he just said to you, Roxanne, I love you, I love our family, but my sexual orientation is toward other men? Would that have been more hurtful, or would it have been helpful?
It would have been helpful. I always feel that the truth is the best, and I don't care how ugly the truth is. Give me the truth and I know what I'm dealing with, and then I'll deal with it.
Did you ever have friends or family say to you, hey, you know, Mr. X just doesn't quite seem like your regular kind of guy?
Not during my marriage, but after my marriage, people said, well, we were wondering what you were going to do when you found out.
Would you have preferred someone mention that to you?
Definitely, yes. I would have preferred that.
Okay, we're going to talk more in just a moment, but I do want to go to the telephone lines because this is a topic that we felt was important enough to invite you to be part of, and we have a caller on the line now. Dave is joining us now. Dave, thanks very much for being with us.
Hey, Lynn. Glad to be with you. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So why is this a topic that's of interest to you?
I've had a lifelong friend of about 25 years who's as kind and moral and caring a person as could be. Mm-hmm. He's also been gay his whole life. He's been open to me, but basically nobody else.
So he has been open with you. It's not just something that you suspect.
No, he has been open with me. It's he's made it clear. Yes, he is gay. He's had boyfriends. I know this.
Okay.
And I'm perfectly fine with this.
And you're accepting. You're not judging him.
100%
You're accepting.
I'm as liberal as can be when it comes to this. I couldn't care less.
So what's the problem?
His Christian beliefs make him have a lot of self-guilt about this and make him closed off to everyone else about this. because he can't be in the open because it conflicts with his Christian beliefs, I think he's at the point now where he's almost 40, where he's decided to make a choice to, he's going to be getting married later this year. And he's going to be getting married to a woman later this year.
So he obviously hasn't shared his orientation with her.
To be perfectly honest, I haven't had the ability to have that conversation with him yet, but I bet that is incredibly unlikely.
Okay, so here a guy that you know who is gay is about to marry a straight woman. Roxanne, what do you think Dave should do in a situation like that? Should he try to talk to him about it, about being honest, or?
Well, I will be talking to him in a non-judgmental fashion very soon here when I get together with him.
Okay,
and,
let's get our guest reaction to that as well very quickly.
Okay.
I think that you should talk to him and ask him to be honest with her, because she's going to be lonely and she's going to be the one that's going to be hurt in the end.
And Mary, would you agree that?
I agree very much with that. The issue here is not whether or not someone is gay. The issue here is the deception. Mm-hmm. Any time that you are dealing with deception, you are hurting many people. And it's not just going to be her that you're hurting. It's a whole systemic problem. And there will be children perhaps involved. And I would caution you to suggest to your friend that he is at least open with her before he marries her.
Okay, Dave, I hope that you'll take that advice and do with it what you think is best. Now, you know, this is not just something that happens to women, even though we do have two great guests here. There are plenty of men who realize that they're married to women who prefer other women. Sam Cheney is one of them. He's the past president of the Straight Spouse Network. Sam, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Is it different when people hear that your wife left you for another woman as opposed to the reaction that men have left for other men?
It's maybe a little bit different. It seems almost to be, for some people, a joke.
Mm-hmm. What's funny about that?
Well, it's hard for people to comprehend.
Or they think that there's like that kind of chick thing going on there, and they think it's funny. Then.
Yeah, do they let you watch? You know, that
right,
sort of
that
thing.
Kind of thing.
And
it's not funny to you.
It's not funny. It was rather a shock. Like Mary, I had no idea until she actually came out and told me.
And when did your wife tell you? Was it well within the marriage? Was it when she first realized it? Was it after she had found someone else? What was the impetus for her coming out?
I think it was probably midlife crisis. We'd been married at the time for 19 years. I think, at least from what she said, she'd realized she was lesbian for about 5 years before that. She had been very depressed, very angry, and for no reason that I could fathom.
Did you think you were being a bad husband?
Well, she was more than happy to tell me that was the reason.
And we know now, after having lived these situations, that a lot of times that frustration that the spouses direct on you is really because they are so unhappy with their life choice.
Yes, I'm sure she was extremely unhappy, and she came out because I think she wanted to have a relationship, and she never did. I don't believe she ever cheated. But when she came out, it was because she was planning on having a relationship, I believe.
All right, on that note, we do have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have some advice on what to do if you're dealing with this, if you know someone who is, or if you suspect something's just not right. All of that and more phone calls when we come back. Stay with us.